Question 61. What is the most common cause of network connectivity issues? A. Physical layer issues such as power outages or unseated cables. B. Corrupt NIC drivers. C. Incorrect registry values. D. Router configuration. Correct answer. A. Physical layer issues such as power outages or unseated cables. The most common cause of network connectivity issues is physical layer issues, such as power outages or unseated cables. These types of issues are often the easiest to overlook, but can prevent devices from establishing a proper network connection. Ensuring that cables are securely connected and that power to network devices is stable is crucial in resolving many connectivity problems. Question 62. At which stage of the troubleshooting process should you assess the possible impacts of the applied solution? A. First step. B. Second step. C. Third step. D. Fourth step. Correct answer. D. Fourth step. The fourth step is when you assess the possible impacts of the applied solution. This comes after identifying the problem, establishing a theory, and implementing the solution. At this stage, you monitor and ensure that the solution resolves the issue without introducing new problems or affecting other parts of the system. Question 63. Users have noticed network connectivity issues whenever extra lights are switched on. What is the most probable cause of this problem? A. DDoS. B. Crosstalk. C. Open short. D. EMI. Correct answer. D. EMI. The most probable cause of this problem is electromagnetic interference. EMI occurs when electrical devices, such as lights or machinery, generate interference that disrupts the signals in network cables, leading to connectivity issues. Lighting, especially fluorescent lights or other devices with motors, can emit electromagnetic fields that affect nearby network cables, causing communication problems. Question 64. Which of the following is not associated with signal bleeding? A. SSID. B. Next. C. FXT. D. Crosstalk. Correct answer. A. SSID. SSID, Service Set Identifier, is related to wireless networking and is not associated with signal bleeding. Next, near-end crosstalk. FEXT, far-end crosstalk, and crosstalk all refer to forms of signal interference in wired networks, where signals from one cable interfere with those in adjacent cables. Signal bleeding typically occurs due to these types of crosstalk. Question 65. What steps can be taken to prevent unauthorized individuals from connecting to your wireless access point and accessing the network? A. Disable SSID broadcasting. B. Implement MAC address filtering. C. Place the access point in a DMZ. D. Use Kerberos for authentication. Correct answer. A. Disable SSID broadcasting. SSID, Service Set Identifier, is the name of a wireless network, Wi-Fi, that devices see when scanning for available networks in the area. The SSID helps users identify and select the correct network to connect to, which is particularly important in environments with multiple Wi-Fi networks. Disabling SSID broadcasting means that the Wi-Fi network will not appear in the list of available networks, making it harder for unauthorized individuals to detect it. This adds a basic layer of security, as those who do not know the network name will find it more difficult to connect. Question 66. How do wireless devices that adhere to the IEEE 802.11n and 802.11e AC standards reach transmission speeds exceeding 72.2 megabits per second? A. By sacrificing transmission range for speed. B. By using direct sequence spread spectrum modulation. C. By using frequencies in the 5 GHz band. D. By using multiple antennae to transmit several data streams simultaneously. Correct answer. D. By using multiple antennae to transmit several data streams simultaneously. To enhance data transmission performance, wireless networking devices use MIMO, multiple input, multiple output technology. This technology allows the use of multiple antennas at both the transmitter and receiver to improve communication efficiency. MIMO employs a technique called spatial multiplexing, where different data packets are sent through various antennas, thereby increasing transmission speed and minimizing the impact of interference. Question 67. What constitutes an abnormal occurrence on an Ethernet network? A. Collision detection. B. Jam signals. C. Late collisions. D. Packet retransmissions. Correct answer. C. Late collisions. Late collisions are an abnormal occurrence in Ethernet networks, occurring when a device transmits data and a collision happens after more than 64 bytes of data have been sent. This can be caused by factors such as excessively long Ethernet cables or unstable signals. Late collisions can lead to reduced network performance, increased latency, and decreased bandwidth. Question 68. Which feature does a switch with auto-medium-dependent interface crossover ports provide that removes the need for certain components? A. 8P, 8C connectors. B. Crossover cables. C. Straight-through cables. D. Switch-to-switch connections. Correct answer. B. Crossover cables. Crossover cables are a special type of network cable designed to directly connect two similar devices, such as two computers, two switches, or two routers, without the need for an intermediary device. MDI-X, Medium Dependent Interface (CompTIA), is a version of the MDI port that can automatically switch between MDI and MDI-X configurations, allowing a switch to connect directly to another switch without requiring a crossover cable. Question 69. What tasks can only be performed by a firewall that has stateful packet inspection capabilities? A. Block all TCP traffic from entering a network. B. Block traffic destined for specific IP addresses. C. Filter traffic-based port numbers. D. Scan transport layer header fields for evidence of SYN floods. Correct answer. D. Scan transport layer header fields for evidence of SYN floods. Stateful packet inspection is an advanced filtering technique used by firewalls that monitors the state of active connections. This technique allows the firewall to maintain a table of ongoing connections and make decisions based on the context of network traffic. Key features: SPI tracks the state of connections to determine whether to allow or block specific packet traffic. SPI can detect abnormal patterns that may indicate a potential SYN flood attack, a type of denial of service attack, allowing administrators to take action. SPI can filter traffic based on the context of the connection, enabling more sophisticated security policies. Question 70. Among the listed network devices, which one does not implement access control lists for access restriction? A. Hubs. B. Routers. C. Switches. D. Wireless access points. Correct answer. A. Hubs. Access control lists are a network security management technology that enables network administrators to control incoming and outgoing traffic on devices such as routers, switches, wireless access points, and firewalls. ACLs help define access rights for different users or devices, protecting network resources and enhancing overall security. Question 71. When installing or replacing a router, it is often necessary to manually add the first routes. Which command is commonly used on most Cisco routers to accomplish this from the command line? A. Add route. B. First route. C. IP route. D. Route change. Correct answer. C. IP route. IP route command is used to configure static routes on a Cisco router. By using the IP route command, you can specify the destination network, subnet mask, and the next hop IP address or exit interface for traffic to reach that network. This helps the router understand how to forward packets to networks it doesn't know by default. For example, to route traffic destined for a remote network, you would use the IP route command followed by the destination network and the next hop IP address. Question 72. Once a technician has formulated a hypothesis about the possible cause of a user's reported issue, what is the next step in the troubleshooting process? A. Implement the solution to the problem. B. Establish a plan of action. C. Identify the problem. D. Implement preventative measures. Correct answer. B. Establish a plan of action. After formulating a hypothesis, the next step is to establish a plan of action. This involves planning the steps necessary to test the hypothesis and verify whether it addresses the root cause of the issue. The technician needs to decide on the appropriate tools, resources, and methods required to test the hypothesis and implement the potential solution. Question 73. Which OSI layer is responsible for error detection using a frame check sequence? A. Session. B. Transport. C. Physical. D. Data link. Correct answer. D. Data link. The data link layer is responsible for error detection using a frame check sequence. The FCS is a method used to detect errors that may have occurred during the transmission of frames across the network. This error checking is performed at the data link layer to ensure that the data sent is correctly received, and any errors in the transmission are identified. If an error is detected, the frame is discarded and the sender is requested to retransmit it. Question 74. What type of switch forwards frames immediately after checking only the destination address? A. Cut-through. B. Destination. C. Source route. D. Store and forward. Correct answer. A. Cut-through. Cut-through switching is a method used by network switches where the switch begins forwarding a frame as soon as it reads the destination address in the header. This approach reduces latency because it doesn't wait to receive the entire frame before starting to forward it, unlike store and forward switches, which buffer the complete frame and check for errors before forwarding. Question 75. What criteria does a firewall that supports service-dependent filtering use to block traffic? A. Hardware addresses. B. IP addresses. C. Port numbers. D. Protocol identifiers. Correct answer. C. Port numbers. Service-dependent filtering is a feature of firewalls that allows them to block or permit traffic based on service port numbers. since each type of service typically corresponds to a standard port number, like HTTP, port 80, or HTTPS, port 443. This allows for targeted control of network traffic based on the type of service. Question 76. What term refers to a wireless LAN transmission technique that uses multiple antennas to improve transmission speeds? A. ANT plus. B. MIMO. C. PAN. D. TDMA. Correct answer. B. MIMO. MIMO, multiple input, multiple output, is a wireless transmission technology that uses multiple antennas at both the transmitter and receiver to transmit multiple data streams simultaneously. This technology enhances data transfer speeds, improves connection stability, and extends coverage, especially in modern Wi-Fi standards such as IEEE 802.11n, 802.11ac, and 802.11ax. Question 77. What technology is typically linked to virtual PBX services? A. CARP. B. Quality of service. C. Round-robin DNS. D. Voice over IP. Correct answer. D. Voice over IP. VoIP, Voice over IP, is a technology that enables the transmission of voice and multimedia over the Internet or IP networks instead of using traditional telephone lines. A virtual PBX, private branch exchange, is a virtual phone system that allows businesses to manage and make calls over the Internet. This technology leverages VoIP to provide flexible and efficient phone services and call management without the need for complex infrastructure investments. Question 78. A network user reports being unable to access network resources. As a technician, what should be the first step in troubleshooting this issue? A. Check for a link light on the network adapter. B. Check the TCP/IP settings on the computer. C. Check the network cable. D. Check the switch. Correct answer. A. Check for a link light on the network adapter. The first step in troubleshooting this issue should be to check for a link light on the network adapter. This will verify if the network adapter is properly connected to the network. The link light indicates whether the physical connection is active. If the light is off, there may be a hardware issue with the adapter or a problem with the physical connection, such as a faulty cable or network port. Question 79. A user reports being unable to access network resources after recent changes in the office environment. What should a network technician do first in this situation? A. Check the system's IP address. B. Perform a ping test against the servers. C. Reseat the cables into the back of the PC. D. Ask what changes were made. Correct answer. D. Ask what changes were made. The first step in troubleshooting should be to ask what changes were made. Understanding the changes that occurred in the office environment can provide valuable context to help identify the root cause of the issue. This can reveal whether any new equipment was added, if there were network configuration changes, or if something physically altered the network environment. For example, cables or devices moved. Once this is clarified, the technician can focus on further diagnostic steps based on the information provided. Question 80. While diagnosing wireless network issues in a crowded office building, a network technician suspects interference from nearby wireless networks. Which of the following methods would best help identify the source of interference? A. Conduct a bandwidth test. B. Examine the logical network diagram. C. Conduct a site survey. D. Conduct a vulnerability scan. Correct answer. C. Conduct a site survey. A site survey helps identify interference sources by measuring signal strength and detecting nearby networks. This method provides a clear picture of the wireless environment, helping the technician identify overlapping channels or sources of interference. Question 81. After setting up a home computer with Windows 7 and connecting to the Internet, you check the network status indicator in the notification tray. What icon appears if there is a network issue? A. A green light. B. A cable. C. A red X. D. A lightning bolt. Correct answer. C. A red X. A red X indicates that the computer is not connected to any network, or that there is a problem with the network connection. This visual cue alerts the user to check their network settings or connections for potential issues, such as a disconnected cable or problems with the network adapter. Question 82. A user is experiencing network connectivity issues after setting up a personal wired router to connect multiple computers. Which of the following is the most likely unintended consequence of this setup? A. Evil twin. B. Honeypot. C. Rogue DHCP server. D. VLAN mismatch. Correct answer. C. Rogue DHCP server. When a user sets up a personal wired router on an existing network, it may unintentionally introduce a rogue DHCP server. Most consumer-grade routers have a built-in DHCP server that assigns IP addresses to connected devices. If this router is plugged into an enterprise network, it can start issuing incorrect IP addresses, conflicting with the legitimate DHCP server. This can cause network connectivity issues, including devices receiving incorrect IP settings, wrong gateway, subnet, or DNS, users being unable to access network resources, IP conflicts leading to disruptions in communication. Question 83. What device enables administrators of enterprise wireless networks to manage multiple access points from a central location? A. Demarcation point. B. Hypervisor. C. Wireless controller. D. Wireless endpoint. Correct answer. C. Wireless controller. A wireless controller is a device in a wireless network that helps manage and coordinate access points in an enterprise network environment. Administrators can use this device to manage, configure, monitor, and support load balancing for all APs in the network system from a single location. Question 84. What is the term for the process by which dynamic routing protocols exchange routing table information with other routers? A. Convergence. B. Dissemination. C. Distance vectoring. D. Redistribution. Correct answer. A. Convergence. Convergence is the process by which changes in a network, such as adding or removing devices, altering paths, or experiencing faults, prompt routers to use dynamic routing protocols to share information about their routing tables. This achieves consistency in routing information, ensuring optimal network performance, minimizing latency and packet loss, and maintaining network availability. Question 85. What type of topology facilitates access for wireless devices to resources on a wired network? A. Ad hoc. B. Bus. C. Infrastructure. D. Star. Correct answer. C. Infrastructure. Topology infrastructure refers to a network structure where wireless devices, such as laptops and smartphones, connect to a wired network through an access point. This AP is typically connected to a switch or router, enabling wireless devices to access resources on the wired network, such as printers, servers, or the Internet. This setup facilitates easier monitoring and management of devices in the network through the access point. Question 86. What is the primary factor that improves performance when switching from hubs to switches in an Ethernet local area network? A. Switches do not forward broadcast transmissions. B. Switches forward packets faster than hubs. C. Switches read the IP addresses of packets, not the hardware addresses. D. Switches reduce the number of collisions on the network. Correct answer. D. Switches reduce the number of collisions on the network. Hubs are networking devices that simply amplify and transmit signals to all ports without distinguishing the destination. When multiple devices attempt to send data simultaneously, collisions occur, leading to data loss and the need for retransmission. Switches, on the other hand, are smarter networking devices that use MAC addresses to determine the destination of packets. They forward data only to the intended receiving device, significantly reducing the likelihood of collisions and thereby enhancing network performance and bandwidth for each connection. Question 87. Which device is responsible for call switching between endpoints on the local IP network and provides access to external Internet lines? A. Multi-layer switch. B. VoIP PBX. C. VoIP endpoint. D. VoIP gateway. Correct answer. B. VoIP PBX. VoIP PBX, Private Branch Exchange, is a device that utilizes Voice over Internet Protocol technology to manage and connect voice calls between various endpoints on a local IP network, as well as outbound calls to the public telephone network over the Internet. This device can be integrated with other business management applications, such as CRM, Customer Relationship Management, to optimize workflows and enhance customer service. Question 88. Which of the following is not a complement used to distribute incoming network traffic across multiple servers? A. Load balancer. B. NLB cluster. C. Round-robin DNS. D. VPN headend. Correct answer. D. VPN headend. A VPN headend is a crucial component of network infrastructure, serving as the endpoint for virtual private network connections. Its primary function is to manage secure connections for remote users or branch offices, rather than distributing traffic to servers. This ensures that sensitive information is protected when transmitted over insecure connections, such as the Internet. Question 89. What is another term for a multi-port bridge? A. Gateway. B. Hub. C. Router. D. Switch. Correct answer. D. Switch. A multi-port bridge is a networking device that allows multiple network segments to be connected together while having the capability to analyze MAC addresses to intelligently forward data between those segments. This helps minimize collisions in the network and improves performance. A switch is a networking device that operates at Layer 2, data link layer, of the OSI, Open Systems Interconnection model. It receives and forwards data frames between devices within the same network, using MAC addresses to determine the destination device and directing the data frames to that device, ensuring that the data is sent to the correct recipient. Question 90. Where would be the best placement for a firewall system to secure the internet network from potential threats coming from the internet? A. Anywhere on the private internet network, as long as the internet is accessible. B. At the ISP's network site. C. Between the Internet Access Router and the Internet Service Provider's network. D. Between the Internet Access Router and the rest of the private internet network. Correct answer. D. Between the Internet Access Router and the rest of the private internet network. An Internet Access Router serves the primary function of connecting a local area network of an organization or individual to the public internet. By placing the firewall between the Internet Access Router and the internal network, the network administrator can control and filter all incoming and outgoing traffic before it reaches the private network. This setup ensures that only permitted traffic passes through, providing a strong layer of protection against external threats. Question 91. After speaking with the end user and collecting relevant details about the issue, what should the junior network technician do next? A. Document the findings and outcomes. B. Escalate the ticket to a senior technician. C. Establish a theory of probable cause. D. Implement the solution. Correct answer. C. Establish a theory of probable cause. The next step is to establish a theory of probable cause. This allows the technician to hypothesize about the source of the issue based on the information gathered, which guides further troubleshooting and helps narrow down possible solutions. Question 92. The method used to confirm the correct wiring arrangement within a cable is referred to as a wire map test or wire mapping. A. True. B. False. Correct answer. A. True. Wire mapping is a testing process that ensures each wire in a cable is correctly terminated at both ends according to the required wiring standard. This test helps identify common issues such as miswiring, opens, shorts, and split pairs, ensuring proper connectivity in network cabling. Question 93. How does SDN improve network management? A. By requiring manual configuration of each device. B. By decentralizing the control plane. By providing centralized, programmable control over the network. D. By removing all virtualization technologies. Correct answer. C. By providing centralized, programmable control over the network. SDN centralizes network control, enabling administrators to configure and manage the entire network from a single location through software. SDN provides streamlined management and faster configuration. If SDN were not used, network changes would require manual updates on individual devices. Question 94. What is a key physical security measure to protect a network closet? A. Implementing VLAN trunking. B. Using wider wireless channels. C. Increasing UPS capacity. D. Installing biometric locks and access control. Correct answer. D. Installing biometric locks and access control. Physical security measures like locks and access control prevent unauthorized access to network closets, protecting equipment from tampering or theft. Physical security provides hardware protection. If physical security were not used, unauthorized users could damage or steal network equipment. Question 95. What TCP/IP setting on an N system identifies the Internet Protocol address of the local router serving as the gateway to external networks? A. DNS server addresses. B. Default gateway. C. Subnet gateway. D. WINS, server addresses. Correct answer. B. Default gateway. The default gateway is the IP address of the router on a local network that devices use to send data to other networks, such as the Internet. When a device, like a computer or smartphone, wants to send data to an IP address that is not part of its local network, it sends that data to the default gateway. The default gateway is responsible for forwarding the data to the appropriate destination. Question 96. What is the term for the network name used to connect a client device to an access point on a wireless LAN? A. BSS. B. BSSID. C. ESS. D. SSID. Correct answer. D. SSID. SSID, Service Set Identifier, is the name of a wireless network that users see when connecting their devices to an access point in a wireless LAN. It helps users identify and distinguish between different wireless networks in the same area, allowing them to easily select the SSID that corresponds to the network they want to access. Question 97. What method is used to identify authorized devices in a wireless access point that employs an access control list for network access? A. Device names. B. IP addresses. C. MAC addresses. D. Usernames. Correct answer. C. MAC addresses. Access control lists on a wireless access point are a set of rules that define the access rights of devices to the wireless access point, helping to manage and secure the network by only allowing authenticated or permitted devices to connect. The WAP uses the MAC addresses of devices to check against the ACL. If a device's MAC address is on the allowed list, that device will be granted access to the network. Otherwise, it will be denied. Question 98. Which layer of the OSI model is associated with the functioning of wireless range extenders? A. Application. B. Data link. C. Network. D. Physical. Correct answer. D. Physical. A wireless range extender, repeater, is a networking device that operates at the physical layer, Layer 1, of the OSI model, designed to extend the coverage area of an existing Wi-Fi network. It works by receiving wireless signals from a router and rebroadcasting that signal, thereby enhancing coverage in areas with weak signals or further away from the router. Question 99. Choose the true definition of the term modem. A. A device that connects a local area network to a wide area network. B. A device that connects a local area network to the Internet. C. A device that connects a computer to the public switched telephone network. D. A device that converts analog signals to digital signals and back again. Correct answer. D. A device that converts analog signals to digital signals and back again. A modem, short for modulator-demodulator, is a device that converts analog signals to digital signals and vice versa. It's important to note that the digital device doesn't necessarily have to be a computer, and the analog device doesn't have to be the public switched telephone network. Many devices are mistakenly labeled as modems, including those that link a digital local area network to a digital wide area network or entirely digital devices that connect computers to the Internet. Question 100. Which term is correct to describe the function of a switch? A. Ethernet hub. B. Layer 2 router. C. Layer 3 repeater. D. Multi-port bridge. Correct answer. D. Multi-port bridge. A switch is a multi-port bridge that operates at the data link layer, Layer 2, of the OSI model. It learns the MAC addresses of the devices connected to its ports and uses this information to forward packets to the correct destination. This allows switches to create a logical network, even though the devices may be physically connected to different ports on the switch. A router, on the other hand, operates at the network layer, Layer 3, of the OSI model. Routers use IP addresses to route packets between networks. This allows routers to connect different subnets and even different networks together. Hubs and repeaters are physical layer, Layer 1 devices. They simply amplify the signal from one port and send it out to all other ports. This means that all devices connected to a hub or repeater can see all traffic on the network. Thank you for watching. If you found this helpful for you, don't forget to like, drop a comment, and subscribe for more practice questions and tips.